Yesterday, something happened in Thika.
Thika oye!
And as a result, every political strategist in Kenya is actually nervous.
Was Linda Mwananchi's rally today in Kiambu County a success or a flop?
You see, for decades, Mount Kenya has been one of the hardest political territories to actually penetrate. You can ask William.
Kwetu, he was there 6 days out of 7 every week.
Politicians have spent years, sometimes their entire careers, trying to win the trust of the people of the mountain. Even Raila Odinga, arguably one of the most formidable political figures, struggled for years to gain meaningful ground here in the mountain. And still, in 2022, he just got 1 million votes.
Mzee Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa amepatiwa 1.3 million votes kupitia Jubilee.
But yesterday, after Linda Mwananchi rallies in Thika and Githurai, something happened, something that very few people expected, and it involves both Rigathi Gachagua and Edwin Sifuna.
Hawa ndugu zetu kina Rigiji.
Leo Sifuna amekuwa mjini Thika katika ngome langu la kisiasa.
And that is where the story begins, because in politics, symbols matter. And when a politician is calculating as Gachagua sends a signal this public, this deliberate, and this visible, you have to ask questions.
Tutaketi tupangane vizuri.
Questions like, what message was he sending? Was this simply about the opposition unity? Or was it a strategic move aimed at William Samoei Ruto? The answers are going to surprise you. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video. Just so that we are clear, this was the first attempt by Linda Mwananchi, led by one Edwin Sifuna, to actually hold a rally inside the mountain. Someone would say this was their first entry into the mountain.
Walitifua kivumbi katika uwanja wa Kivulini, Thika, kaunti ya Kiambu, wakiendelea kusakata ngome ya kumfurusha Rais William Ruto ikuluni mwaka ujao.
You see, Linda Mwananchi has been all over the country. They started in, I think, Kitengela. They went to, was it Bungoma or Kakamega? They've gone to so many areas, but most of them have been on the western side of the country. They even went to Mombasa and then they went to Machakos. Now, this was their first entry point into the mountain. And some people have argued that there's no way you're going to be president of this country if you disregard the mountain.
There are some people who are lying to themselves, lying to us, lying to their villagers, that the Kikuyu vote does not matter in the presidential election. Hiyo ni porojo, hiyo ni uongo, because numbers do not lie.
So you can see why they would take their time before getting into the mountain.
Nataka kuuliza Thika, munaniona vizuri? Huku munaniona vizuri?
They had to build some muscle before getting to the mountain people.
Huku munaniona vizuri? Mimi ndio Sifuna.
Someone would argue he had first to be accepted all around the country before making his case in front of the Mount Kenya audience.
Wasapere wanasema ngare etihaguo na modo na mudo niwe, si kweli?
Yesterday, for lack of a better word, they did very well. And it was very deliberate how they entered the mountain through Thika and Githurai.
Wametoka Thika wameenda pale Githurai, ambaye ndio kiingilio ya Mlima Kenya.
Whether what Gachagua said is true or not, I do not know. But I do see the logic in having the rally in Thika and Githurai, because these are very urban areas. It's very hard to get rejected in such areas. But then it would be a bit weird if they first held their first rally in the mountain in a place like Kirinyaga or Nyeri. You know, those are like, you know, deep areas. But it was hugely successful.
Thika na Githurai. Thenge muna doituma. Ira muro merire. Kumera.
Some people are even saying that Sifuna is the best graduate from Raila Odinga School of Politics.
Clearly, Edwin Sifuna is the best student from the Raila Odinga School of Politics.
In what way?
Jamaa, he has not only consolidated Baba's basis through the Linda Mwananchi Brigade, but he has gone ahead kuingia Mount Kenya. Kitu yenye ililemea Baba miaka yake yote.
To climb the mountain for Raila Odinga was an uphill task, literally, and it never happened. But yesterday, it seemed very easy for Edwin Sifuna to navigate.
Tumekuja milima na hapa Mount Kenya ndio mambo yote.
Sifuna has been very calculative in the way that he's approached this whole mountain thing. I'm assuming if this was several months ago, Sifuna would have a very hard time entering the mountain because he'd look like a competitor to Rigathi Gachagua. So in a place where competition would have been expected between Gachagua and Sifuna, rather we saw something different. We saw cooperation.
Ajenda yetu ni one term. Leo Sifuna amekuwa mjini Thika katika ngome langu la kisiasa na timu yake wamekaribishwa kama wafalme.
Sifuna has been able to reduce that tension, and the same is also coming from Rigathi's side, where you don't see them as competitors anymore. You see them as people who are in the same team, and that helped him in a very huge way to actually navigate his way through Thika, Githurai, and actually just manage to enter the mountain.
Walituambia hatuwezi kufika Thika. Nataka muongee nao wasikie hapa ni wapi. Hapa ni wapi? Ati hapa ni wapi? Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Ati nyinyi ni kina nani?
And that is where this story actually becomes bigger than even Edwin Sifuna.
You guys, tuko Kivulini grounds. Tumefika hapa na the host wa kesho Thika rally, Honorable Pauline Njoroge. Hebu tuambie nini happen kesho?
Hapa, Zuena, kesho. Mega rally ya Linda Mwananchi.
We can be honest. I feel like this is a space where we can be truthful. The Mount Kenya people have not been very welcoming to outsiders. Mount Kenya is not a place where you just come from like Luya land, Masai land, Luo land, the coast, and just come and do your politics in that place. It does not happen like that.
The reality is that Mount Kenya is slippery out of the president's hands now.
William did not just enter the mountain.
Mimi ndio nilikuleta hapa. Ukatanganywa na ichongo ati ulijilete, si ujilete sasa.
Previously, before they broke the Kenya Moja, there was Gathonu Mushomba. Gathonu Mushomba was part of the Kenya Moja, which now morphed into Linda Mwananchi. You can understand why she would be a very good person to actually welcome them to the mountain, but no one was there. So, and this is what we're going to talk about. They brought someone, and this someone might have been very instrumental to just making this whole rally successful.
Ati Rigathi is an non-factor in Central Kenya. Irungu wa barua si amekuja akasema hadharani, endeni mkatafute wa mwenyewe. Hapo Linda Mwananchi. Ama masikio mlikuwa mmevalisha earrings.
But also to our previous conversation, where Mount Kenya people do not seem to be very welcoming to outside leaders, I want to ask a question. Is it that now the Mount Kenya people have matured and they are welcoming anyone and everyone? Or is it leaders like Gachagua who have seen the need to actually work with other groups of people? Is it the need to work with other groups of people to defeat Kasongo that is driving them? Or do you think someone like Gachagua has just matured politically?
Wamekaribishwa kama wafalme. Kwa sababu ile wanasema watu ya huko ndio wanasema. Sifuna na watu yake wanasema one term, watu ya mlima wanasema one term. Kwa hivyo wamekaribishwa vizuri sana.
That would be a very good conversation to have in the comments below. Tell me, has Gachagua matured, or is his hate for William Samoei Ruto the one that is driving him to actually gel with other political leaders?
Sisi tuko na uhusiano wa hali ya juu sana, tunapendana na tunaelewana.
So by now I think we are all in agreement that Sifuna is more instrumental and important to this movement than we all might have estimated. Sifuna has found himself to be a very key instrument to making Ruto a one-term president.
Sasa unaona leo imekuwa mzuri sana. Sisi tunasukuma Bungoma, tunasukuma Trans Nzoia, Sifuna anasukuma Kiambu, nasukuma Nairobi.
And even for him, this has been a surprising journey. And because of that, I think he's been forced to mature as a politician. I watched him on Mike Check podcast, and the guys at Mike Check really went in on him.
Matiang'i, who, when he was in power, disobeyed, is it 42 court orders? Who knows? Please Google.
I was there, boss. I was one of the lawyers for Miguna. Yes,
so then, if he has shown us that when he has power, it's like he's above the law.
Yes.
Then why? How do we ignore that? Just in the name of kicking out Ruto? Because is there a difference kicking out Ruto Saizi when you're going to have someone that behaves like Ruto?
And I liked his response.
Does Matiang'i have a role to play in kicking Ruto out? Let me ask you that question. He has a role to play. Once we have a charter, we have agreed. That frame here,
like this. We ask each other, how do you fit in this frame, my brother? Yes, you can help us, but can we put you in charge of X and Y? We say no, because you have challenges with this and this and that.
He said that all these people have baggages. Even me, I have my own baggage. But when we get to the table, we are going to have a very honest discussion. He said, for example, I have an issue with Matiang'i, he tear-gassed me. I have an issue with this one. We are all going to put these things on the table, and we are going to come together, not because we love each other. We are coming together because of a common cause, making William Samoei Ruto a one-term president. And also, we are coming together because of a single moral value. And he said very clearly that right now, the bar for who can actually replace William Samoei Ruto has really been lowered. We do not want you to be a PhD holder. We don't want you to give us development. We don't want you to do a lot of stuff. We just want you to be a good human being.
We have to be honest with each other. But I personally feel that some of these issues will be addressed very. You have to be honest to each other and say this can be done, this cannot be done, because there's a yearning for a certain country.
Earlier, I said that the Linda Mwananchi team had actually brought someone who might have made it a bit easier for them to navigate Thika and the neighboring places. This person was Kangata.
Huyu Kangata sasa amedeclare yeye ni walinda mwananchi. Na tarana any other party apart from UDA.
Other people who are actually commenting on the same, they actually congratulate him for coming out and actually siding with a certain side, because sometimes in politics you don't want to be the guy sitting on the fence all the time. It's crazy.
Harambe! Harambe!
And you know what else was very interesting about Kangata showing up for this meeting? Is because people have been asking for Dindi Nyoro to join this Linda Mwananchi team for a long time. Now, Dindi has been very also impartial. He's not wanted to side with the Rigathi Gachaguas, the Sifunas. He's been very impartial. But seeing Kangata here gives us hope that somehow in the future, Dindi Nyoro is going to join either Linda Mwananchi or just United Opposition, or just because he's already part of the opposition, because he's opposing the government. But it would be nice to see him actually be at a place where we can identify, see him, okay, that's our guy, you know. So that was super nice. Also, Kangata made a statement, and this statement was actually very interesting because it said, you guys, I like the fact that you're coming to the mountain, but guess what? Up in here, around the mountain, the senior most political figure is actually Rigathi Gachagua, and it would be super nice if you guys actually went to him.
Kwanza nimeambia huyu rafiki yangu Sifuna wakiwa na Babu na Orengo watafuta wa Munyoro. Si ndio? Watafuta nani?
Penye waze
hapa haribiki
neno
jambo
yeah.
Now there's been talks that he would actually eventually join DCP and run with it in the coming election. Of course, that is inevitable because DCP seems to be the most popular party in the mountain right now.
Ni wengi viongozi wacha tukwambie William Ruto. Ni wengi watafuta wa Munyoro huku usiku na nduthi na tochi.
So after the Linda Mwananchi rally in Thika, we can do some housekeeping.
I am of the opinion that Linda Mwananchi should come up with a political party, because we cannot produce a presidential candidate who vies on Linda Mwananchi movement. Linda Mwananchi is a movement and not a political party. So number one, political party, very, very important. Na hiyo story ya kushinda mkituambia nyinyi ni wa ODM, nyinyi ndio at least la kusema ni SG, lakini kuna mwenye alisema yeye ni de facto party leader wa ODM. Hiyo story hatutaki kusikia, mkuje na party neutral.
People actually praise the messaging. They said that for the first time they could actually hear something nice coming from these people, apart from just beating Kasongo.
That was a total success. Crowd tick. Messaging tick. Leo at least mulikuwa na message. At least there's something to take home.
Someone praised Pauline Njoroge to be the engine behind Linda Mwananchi. I'm not sure, but if she's the one,
Kumera. Kesho mutokeleze kwa wingi. Muonyeshe Sifuna Murima inamutambua. Aki, don't disappoint your friend. Don't disappoint your friend.
Now, for those who don't know, or those who maybe are not political heads like me, you might not have realized it, but yesterday there were a total of not less than 4 political rallies. The United Opposition had a rally. The Linda Ground part of function of ODM had a rally. The president had one. And then there was the Linda Mwananchi. But we're going to focus on the United Opposition rally because that is where Rigathi Gachagua was. Now, that rally is said to have been the last public rally that he's going to do for the next 45 days.
Gachagua arejea wa Munyoro kupanga kikosi.
Katika likizo ameenda kupanga kikosi sasa. Gachagua ndo mpangaji mkuu.
Alisema baada ya safari yake ya Western ataretreat, atakwenda wa Munyoro kwenda sasa kutulia na kuanza kupiga mahesabu ya nani sasa atapeperusha bendera ya kuwania kiti cha urais upande wa upinzani.
And in these 45 days he's going to do some things. He's going to listen to the people. He's going to also summon his genius brain. Okay? He's going to summon his genius brain and he's going to come up with a master stroke of an idea, a strategy on how to actually defeat William Samoei Ruto in 2027. Now, I am a very ambitious person. I like to make bold statements and I want to predict right here that before the 45 days are actually over, Bwana Sifuna is going to find himself in Wamunyoro.
Irungu wa barua si amekuja akasema hadharani, endeni mkatafute Wamunyoro.
Personally, I'm looking forward to it and I know it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to this country.
Hawa ndugu zetu kina Rigiji wakienda peke yao, mimi najua watashinda Ruto, lakini watamshinda saa 8. Sisi wana Linda Mwananchi tukienda peke yetu tutashinda Ruto, lakini tutamshinda saa 8. Lakini wananchi wanatuambia hii kitu wanataka tumalize saa 12 asubuhi.
Sisi hatuna tofauti zozote na mlengo wa kina Sifuna na wengine. Sisi tunaongea lugha moja na mimi niko na matumaini ya kwamba hapo mbele tutaketi, tupangane vizuri, tuangalie jinsi ya vile tutaunda serikali na vile tutaenda hii uchaguzi tushinde kwa margin kubwa sana.
Now, the biggest takeaway from yesterday is not even Edwin Sifuna visiting Thika. The biggest takeaway is that some walls that actually separated Kenya's opposition are beginning to actually be lowered. Whether the cooperation survives until 2027 is something that obviously remains to be seen. But if yesterday was actually an indication, the conversation inside the opposition is actually changing. And when political calculation starts changing inside Mount Kenya, every serious politician in the country must pay attention. Including who? Including Bwana William. Subscribe.